Hey everybody, it's XEspmasterX. Welcome back to an episode of ChoroQ, or another recording session at any rate. Now, as you may recall, I was making it my goal to basically win every single month of the Grand Prix. Because if you look here, where is that? I don't remember where that was. Wait, could I just like skip the Grand Prix by going forward a month? I'm not gonna do that, but as you see, I have won what appears to be 3 of them, and right now we're in April, so I did race in the April one previously, but I'm now getting another shot at that. And I also need to win the June and August ones, and I'm still not sure how to rematch Barrett, but we'll figure it out, I suppose. Or the answer will become clear in time. And as I usually do to mark the beginning of a new episode, I'm going to change my car body. Today we will be going with pink. I don't know, I feel like I've used this. This one's pretty, like, rad looking, so I was about to say I thought I used it before, but I think I just used another one that was the same color. Of course, I could repaint it, but I don't care enough. And anyways, I do like pink and purple as colors. I didn't used to when I was a kid, but then I kind of grew out of it. Anyway, whatever. If I sound like I'm winded right now, it's because I am. Because getting the recording setup to go here takes quite a bit of effort, and it's also very hot outside, which means it's also fairly hot inside. Even though I have the air conditioning running and the fan, though I didn't want the fan's on a low setting because I didn't want any white noise in the recording. You probably can hear the air conditioning. I can hear it at least. So, we cannot go in there with the 3-speed AT. Alright, so let's get over. It looks like I was messing around with some stuff last time, so I need to get everything set up again. For Castle in the Dark, I shouldn't need a propeller. Dress-up lights will be not actually useful, but I can say that it's useful. And let's hit the hay. All right. So these have been going fairly well for the past few times. It seems like I've finally figured out how to actually somewhat succeed in these. Although I shouldn't say anything because I'm going to jinx myself. Or just become overly confident. I almost said overly competent. I don't think that would be an issue in this case. Alright, so I just gotta race well. Ignore everyone else. I find that helps a lot more than stressing out about whatever place you're in. Because if you race well, you'll eventually just kind of naturally rise to the top. Especially near the beginning. So yeah, I did take a brief break from this Let's Play. It was a couple weeks ago, was when the last time I uploaded this. But I am back now. That was just because I was on a vacation. You know, you can't... It's not really worth the hassle to drag my PS2 with me everywhere I go. Also, recently Undertale Pacifist Run came to a close. Which means that my plan was to start my Hot Wheels Velocity X bonus content as sort of the replacement series for that. It wouldn't be very long, but it would be there. However, there is an issue that has come up with that, which is that my PlayStation 3 is broken. It has a yellow light of death, And based on the research Haley and I have done, we believe that there is likely no chance of repairing it, which means I'll have to get a new one. I'll probably try and get a Slim. But before I do that, I need to get a job, which I don't have. So, that's not going to happen really soon. However, I see. And it looks like everyone took a pit stop there, so perhaps I should have as well. But it is too late now. Now is no time to mourn. Now is no time at all. Alright, as I was saying, PlayStation 3 is down for the count as far as I am concerned. It was a 20 gigabyte model that I got refurbished from GameStop. I think in like 2015-ish. So, all things, and the early models of PlayStation 3 apparently have an issue with a certain government regulation was required to... I don't really know how to explain it, but the point is it's probably toast. And the most sad part about this is actually that it got the live test while I was trying to rewatch Inside Out, which is one of my favorite movies. And now my copy of Inside Out is stuck inside the PS3 with no way to rescue it. So at some point, I'm going to take my PS3 to someone else's house who has a set of tools and take it apart so I can rescue that. Alright, but what this means for you guys is that I don't currently have an easy way of recording Hot Wheels Velocity X. And you may think like, what about the PS2? You're recording on the PS2 right now. Well, this PS2 I also got secondhand, and it was in considerably worse condition when I got it. And so, I didn't even get it like refurbished or anything. It was just, I got it from literally from a pawn shop. And it's been working pretty well for me so far. It's, by all accounts, it has worked better than the old PS2. But there's some game discs which it just doesn't seem to want to read. And one of those is, unfortunately, Hot Wheels Velocity X. It has no problem with ChoroQ, though. Don't ask me why, it's complete nonsense. I'm almost considering taking both my PlayStation 2s to a repair shop and sort of like Frankensteining together like a new one from the other two parts that would have the best of either. So like maybe I could take the old one. The part that in the old one that's broken is the graphics card. So maybe if I gave it the graphics card of the new one, it would work perfectly. Except it wouldn't quite, but I want the disk drive of the old one because that did work fine for a while, but after a while it stopped being able to read DVDs, so I don't know what was up with that. But that's okay because we got a DVD player, which I no longer have. It's at my dad's house. Although I'm sure he'd let me talk me into bringing it here, but I don't know where I'd put it. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Point is, Hot Wheels Velocity X bonus content is going to be coming later, once I figure out some way to record that. In its stead, I am going to bring back my Sonic Adventure DX Let's Play, which is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. If you're new to the channel, I started that back in early 2016, went on hiatus with it until summer of 2017, when I brought it back briefly, but then it got put on hiatus again. And I'll explain the whole story behind that in the Let's Play proper, but I'm not going to get into that now. And actually, I'm going to be recording that right after this, pretty much, hopefully, if all goes to plan. So that will go on, and I think that at the time in which I either get a new PlayStation 3 or fix my PS2 or something happens to which I can do this, I will take a break from Sonic Adventure DX so that I can go and do that. because I kind of want to get it done sooner rather than later, since I did promise that project for a 2019 release. And it's getting it to be about halfway through 2019, and I haven't done anything with it. I have fulfilled my promise of bringing back ChoroQ, as you can see right now. Well, I mean, Laluzza is in first place, so I'm not really bothered by that. Either way, the team is winning. I'm not sure why Laluzza's doing so well. So yeah, that is the update as to what's happening in the XEspmasterX newscast. I don't know. Alright, one more lap. I'm going to, because this is such a long course and quite a difficult one, I am going ahead and just getting a pit stop after every lap after the first one. Because I noticed, even after one lap, my tire endurance was in the toilet. So I think it is the smarter, and I noticed most of the CPUs seem to be doing that as well. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to stick with running into the wall though. That was a mistake. So was that. Alright. So what has been happening in my life recently? I got engaged, I guess there's that. Also, I went and I saw Detective Pikachu. And my reaction to that movie was kind of mixed. Like, on the other hand, I did find it to be a definitely enjoyable movie. But also, it kind of tapped into this, sort of deep, I don't know what you'd call it. This sort of, like, desire within me that I always kind of wish that that the makers of the Pokemon franchise would sort of push the storytelling and the franchise further and try to do something kind of more ambitious. I guess they did a little bit of that in Gen 5, but for the most part, they play it pretty safe. And I just kind of find the Pokemon world fascinating, and that is why I have been driven to, like, I did have a Pokemon fan fiction going a while back, but I have abandoned it in favor of a different project. But that's sort of what drove, it's sort of that same impulse that drove me to create that. And I got a strong feeling from that from Detective Pikachu, because I did kind of feel like the story could have pushed a lot of things further. But I mean, I know it wasn't made for me specifically. I am just kind of an insane maniac who wants to turn the Pokemon series into, like, what, I don't know, whatever weird thing is gonna come out of my head. Alright, so I say our team came off for the better from that race. That's certainly good news. Next course, Grand Old American S. I should be able to go into it with the exact same set of parts, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, man, I'm still a bit winded from just from the process of getting everything set up. It doesn't help that I had to pull a late night of physics homework last night because I messed up and was not doing it throughout the week like I was supposed to. Although, that wasn't really my fault. I legitimately didn't know we were supposed to be working on it gradually. But, so I will not make that mistake again. Alright. Much shorter course here. Should be able to go 2 or 3 laps without needing a pit. And there goes Niebo. I almost said Nyaki, but that's a different thing in this game. Alright. Bye! Dear, that's too rough. I didn't even touch you. Unless you mean your skills as a racer are rough, in which case, yes, I agree with you. Speaking of live-action movies based on video game properties, I'm sure in the Sonic Adventure revival I will be talking about the Sonic movie a bit. I don't have too much to say about it, but it's also been pretty thoroughly talked about. But I'm sure it'll come up. Alright, I should be able to go one more without a pit stop. Alright, I kind of messed up the turn, so let's see if I can handle it this time. Alright, much better. A lot of this game is kind of memorization of the contours of the course and sort of how much of a sharp turn you have to take. Like that one turn in Dungeon Heat Small I always used to mess up. So I've noticed that in previous episodes of this, I have a tendency to like start shaking my legs while I'm recording. I better take the pit stop now though. And that's, if I'm brushing up against something while I do it, it tends to kind of make a tick 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 noise. So if you've heard that, that's just my legs shaking. I'm gonna try not to be noisy about it now that I'm aware of it. What can I say? I just get so excited about ChoroQ, man. I'm all jittery. That's slightly sarcastic, but I do have fun with this game. So, I mean, I might as well just turn into a regular thing where I start talking about whatever movies I've seen in this series, because for some reason, this is the second time I've discussed that. I guess because nothing interesting enough is happening in my life that's not personal. So tomorrow, I'm going to go see X-Men Dark Phoenix with my mom and sister, and by the time this comes out, I will have already seen it. So I'm kind of cautiously excited for that. Now, my personal opinion of the X-Men film franchise is that I rather liked it. I actually liked it before I was into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's a whole speech I can get into with that, and I got third. That could have gone better, I suppose. I could have redone that, or restarted that, but that should be fine. Alright, Kabert and Anya. I'm still in first in the rankings, so I'll accept that, but I need to be careful from now on out, now that I don't have as big of a lead. Dangerous White. Which I still can't hear the name of that without thinking of that stupid joke that Doorman made. But that's neither here or there. You need to hear me near me. No, wait, no, this isn't. I need the skis. I need the skis. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, X-Men Dark Phoenix. I've kind of mostly first got into the X-Men films with First Class. I know that there are several before then, but for the most part, I'm pretty unaware of the old trilogy. I'm pretty sure I saw X-Men The Last Stand in theaters, but I was so young I only remember snippets of it, and people don't seem to like that movie anyway, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But I've seen First Class, and then I've seen every movie that's been released since then. So Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, Logan, and both Deadpools. And this is sort of an unpopular opinion, but my personal favorite of them is X-Men Apocalypse. which it seems to be considered the weakest of the newer films, but I'm not entirely sure why though. I mean, I guess I can see there are problems with it, but like I don't get the thing with, I don't know how much I should say, but I mean, the movie came out 3 years ago, but sure, X-Men Apocalypse spoilers ahead, just in case you actually, for some reason, care. I doubt anyone will. I never got why they're dragging out this thing with Quicksilver and Magneto, and Quicksilver, like, because Quicksilver basically was supposed to tell Magneto, hey, I'm your son, in the last movie, and he didn't. So I don't know what's up with that. That's a tiny little detail, but it does kind of bother me. And there's other things, like on a more technical level, which I can see people taking issue with. But personally, I just find that movie really exciting and interesting. But of course, Days of Future Past is also really good, and I'd also I couldn't tell you why, but I didn't care for the first Deadpool movie that much, but I liked Deadpool 2 better. And then Logan is, despite being the kind of movie that I usually wouldn't, I usually don't like really gory action stuff, but there is enough other things going on in Logan for me to enjoy it. Alright, so I think that's there's more I could talk about with the X-Men, but I don't want it to be like that time I talked about Spider-Man from like 3 videos in a row, so I'm gonna can it there. Maybe I'll bring it up more in a future video after I see Dark Phoenix. Yeah, as has been noted, superheroes themselves are pretty big right now. Mostly Marvel. Mostly Disney's Marvel. Because the X-Men are, until recently, belonged to 21st Century Fox. And of course, well, okay, I won't talk about that. That will be saved for later. And this is not going particularly well so far. I've not really been that focused on the race, and that's a travesty. I might need to restart, but let me see if I can catch up, because everyone is pretty clumped together right now. Yeah, I need to start being a lot more careful at that particular turn, because I keep messing it up. You'd think I'd have learned this about this course by now, because this is one I've raced in fairly often. Hey, get out of my way! I do need to take a pit stop after this lap for sure. Oh my goodness, get out of my way. Alright, let's see if I can get a burst of speed from the pit stop. You don't really get a... Oh! No, I'm not... Okay, I'm not accepting that. Man, they literally shoved me out of it. That was mean. That was so mean. Alright, let's try this again. And yeah, that's good for me because this is also the period of my life in which I'm first kind of getting into superheroes more, because I wasn't too interested in them. Other than the X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy, basically before last year, I was kind of pretty much apathetic to the whole thing. I didn't actively dislike it or anything, but I just wasn't into it. And then I got into it thanks to Infinity War, pretty much. Alright, so... And I'm bringing that up because the other movies I've seen this year have also revolved around Marvel. Mainly Captain Marvel and the Avengers Endgame, which I've seen twice. And then there's also Spider-Man, which is coming out later this summer. And there's another X-Men movie, which will be the final one made by 21st Century Fox, called The New Mutants, which is also coming out later this summer. So there's a lot of stuff happening. However, in non-superhero related news, I'm also interested in seeing Rocket Man, the movie about Elton John. I'm not like a super big Elton John fan, but I have always liked a lot of his stuff. So I kind of feel like that would be really interesting to see. Fun fact, Elton John was knighted on the day I was born. Maybe I shouldn't have revealed that information. Alright, so that first lap went much better. I'm gonna go ahead and pit stop now, while there's no one to shove me out of it. And also because this is a decently long course itself. Oh no. So, I don't know, what else is happening in the world that is not like super political or anything, which is not something I want to talk about here. I don't know. Detective Pikachu, it exists. If you're a Pokemon fan, you'll probably like it. If you're not, I'm not sure. I feel like if you're not a Pokemon fan, you'll probably just think of it as being like an okay kids movie. Oh no! Hey you, remember this. You're no match for me. Alright, just gotta stay focused. Alright, whatever. I can skip a lap. So, I have a guess as to what's going to happen in the game next. I'm guessing that once I win all or a lot of the Grand Prix, like the monthly ones that I've been doing, and possibly also beat Barrett, I'll unlock the final one, because I do happen to know that there is a kind of a grand finale Grand Prix that is the actual end of the game that's different from these normal ones. So I'm pretty excited for that. I still don't know what's up with the lab that's supposed to open. I've been told it's supposed to open once you've won several Grand Prix, and I have heard absolutely nothing about it. And yet it apparently gives you most of the best parts in the game. So yeah. Alright, this is that one turn. Take it slow. I hope that Seaside Paradise is not in this one. I don't think it is. I think it's in like the December one. Didn't that was back when I was still in the 15-minute video format. I since switched to kind of doing one 45-minute episode a week. But I'm pretty sure that took me like 3 videos to actually finish. So, if I was doing the 45-minute set, it probably would have taken that entire video, technically. Although the way I did it with I kind of play fast and loose with the exact timing. Like, last session, instead of having it be exactly 45 minutes, I just had all of the Grand Prix in one video and all of the other stuff in the other video. That's probably what I'll do for the most part. It'll be close to 45 minutes, but not exactly. Ugh. Hate when that happens. Always makes me feel so inadequate. Oh, here's something else that's been happening. I reread the entire Harry Potter series. It's pretty... The story with that is about a year or so ago, I started rereading like Sorcerer's Stone, but I didn't get too far in it. And then later I went back and I finished it. And I read the first like few chapters of Chamber of Secrets, but then I kind of lost the mood for it because I was kind of mad at a lot of stuff which the author had been doing at the time. Ah! But then I've been watching a lot of Super Carlin Brothers' Harry Potter videos, and that made me want to go back and finish rereading them. So since the last video, I've finished Chamber of Secrets and all of the other books. So yeah, you can definitely tell a sense of progression of quality in the first 4 especially, because the first book is it's very rough around the edges. The second one is, you can tell that J.K. Rowling's kind of getting more of a feel for her writing and improving. And then Prisoner of Azkaban is the best. It's all really solid and clean. And then in Goblet of Fire, it has like it pushes the series to the whole next level. It has like the best plot twist ever, and it starts to really expand upon the wizarding world. The next one, Order of the Phoenix, is kind of like I personally find that one to be a little bit the first 2/3 of it I find to be kind of like slow paced. And also, I found myself kind of irritated with Harry and the way he was acting. Although my sister, when I talked to her about this, she did sort of defend it by saying that she was glad that the book had tackled like the actual trauma of someone who had been through what Harry had been through, and how it's shown that especially people who are suffered by trauma, often don't think totally rationally. So I can certainly respect that. I just maybe wish that Order of the Phoenix had done this a bit more concisely. Because there are times which I think that angle does really work. Don't get me wrong. And then my personal favorite is Half-Blood Prince, because I just find that one the most fascinating out of all of them, as far as what it does for the series and the lore. Then Deathly Hallows is also, I don't know, that one also has its flaws, but I think that there is something, it's the one that's the most sort of like abstract and philosophical, and I do really like that. I think that there are some legitimately really beautiful morals in the series. So yeah, that was my opinion of the Harry Potter franchise in like 2 minutes. It was probably longer than that. I'm only really talking about that because I'm not sure what else to say. It's another Grand Prix. And I think I've kind of resigned myself. I think it's okay to just sort of fill in the time with just whatever I want to talk about. Alright, so down niche. Planet jump. So we're gonna need to make a couple adjustments here. Racing tires 2. And don't need this. You know, I really didn't need a propeller for that last race either, but it's not... It doesn't matter. And I think I'm going to put on this one to be on the safe side, because we are going into space, which can be quite the challenge. Because of my rereading of the Harry Potter franchise, that's also corresponded with an upsurge of Harry Potter related dreams. I had this one interesting one a few nights back where I was like, I don't know entirely what was happening. It's really difficult to explain, but it was like, okay, I'm trying to think of how to describe this. Basically, I was like dating Luna Lovegood, but I was also still dating Haley like I am in real life. And I think this is, this situation came about because, I was having two completely unrelated dreams, and then they somehow got mashed together, and so now I, like, have to deal with the fallout of these two different realities coming together. And so, I had to ultimately decide to not date Luna anymore, which you know, it's a little bit sad because, you know, you have to let someone down, but sorry, real life has to take precedence over my fondness of fictional characters. And then there's some weird thing about, like, so Haley was coming over to my house, but she was using Polyjuice Potion to look like someone else who I used to know, who I haven't talked to in years. And then, like, the main four kids from Stranger Things were there, and, like, they were having, like, an argument, and Dustin ran off, and I was trying to go track him down. And then he found, like, this dragon, and was trying to, like, bring about the apocalypse. And I went there and tried to talk him out of it, and he attacked me with a baseball bat. Which I was easily able to fight him off, but I don't know. It was a weird dream. All of my dreams are weird. That is only slightly more incoherent than the average dream that I have. Only slightly. They're usually pretty incoherent. Like, I had another dream last night, but I don't remember most of it. But it had something to do with, like, Ron and Hermione getting married. Anyway, so enough about Harry Potter. I'm going to throw a dart at the dartboard to choose the next topic. Oh no. Uh-oh. Don't catch up with me, please. I always forget you can't look behind you in this game. That bothers me. Every time I try to, I always just do this over and over again and accomplish nothing. Alright, pit stop. Let's go. Where is it? There it is! There he is! Alright, so that was not the smoothest pull into the pit stop, but in my defense, I couldn't freaking see it. I'm gonna do this now because it's fun. Alright. Can you change the sound of your horn in this game? I know you couldn't Gadget Racers. I don't think I have, at the very least. I mean, it was completely useless, but it was fun. In fact, I can use that. I think that sentence pretty much describes Gadget Racers as a whole. And, oh no, I went the wrong way. And for some reason, something about, like, that area I was just in gave me, like, a flashback to the post-game lab area from Pokemon Black and White 2, where you fight Chorus. I don't know why that's really weird. Anyway, who knows how my brain works? It's a mystery. Alright, so that dream I had about, Luna Lovegood reminds me of once Haley did say, like, you're not going to leave me for Hatsune Miku. Which is kind of funny because for some reason there is a, there's sort of a, I guess you could call it a running gag in my group of friends in high school. You know, Steve and Dust and Anmika and all of them, and Doorman, that I used to be Hatsune Miku when I was younger. Which... And the origin of that is one day in our freshman year, we were in the freshman campus library, and there was like a poster on the wall of Hatsune Miku, which had all of her body parts labeled in Spanish, which was a project which was a big part of the Spanish 2 class. I also had to take that and do that later. And it was actually a fairly good drawing of her. But then, I think it was Anmika who said, like, for some reason he pointed to it and said that it was me. I don't really remember the context behind this in the conversation we were having, but it stuck, and even years later it's still being referenced. Final lap. So yeah, I think I also made, like, jokingly made a scratch project about my origins as Hatsune Miku. I find it very amusing. I guess the story is that, like, in this, like, hypothetical reality, I'm like a trans man, and I lived my life as a Japanese pop idol before living my current life, which doesn't really make any sense. I mean, if you got famous being Hatsune Miku, why would you give that up? Why? I guess I should say, why would I give that up? But wait, why am I asking you into that? I'm the one who can answer that question because I'm the one who chose to do it. I'm confusing myself now. Let's talk about something else. Alright, Nebula, you're not going to surpass me today. And I didn't even need the antenna in this because this isn't the one where you get bombarded by like a rain of missiles by the aliens. Speaking of the Avengers Endgame, no, I don't want to talk about that because I know that the movie's been out for a while, but I'm still worried about accidentally spoiling it for someone who hasn't I know my Haley hasn't watched it yet, so I think I'll just wait to talk about it until it's, like, on Netflix, in which case, if you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. Alright, Grand Prix number 5, and it's in Cape Cod, so I imagine it's not going to be super... Yeah, it's high-speed oval. It's not going to be super complicated, is what I was about to say, and I was correct. Immediately gets last place, and, like, never actually finishes the race. Alright. Oh, man. I feel like just explaining my dreams just exhausted me even more. Because the nature of most of my dreams is that trying to explain it makes me sound like a complete lunatic. Pretty much invariably. Alright. This is a very short course, so I should be able to do a 3-fer here. No! And me seeing the... That was a nice spin out there, by the way. Me seeing the term 3-fer reminds me of the Drake and Josh quote, "Are you calling me a liar? Well, I ain't calling you a truther." I don't know why, but I liked Drake and Josh when I was younger. It's been a while since I've watched it. I should go back and relive the old days. The question is, how would I even do that? Because I don't know of anywhere you can legally watch it now. I guess there's probably reruns on Teen Nick or whatever, but I don't have cable. And it's probably on one of their dumb, like, streaming service Nickelodeon is doing that. They aren't actually doing... I don't really understand. There's something like called The Verve, which sometimes has, like, some of Nickelodeon's shows or something. I don't really get it. Alright, this is lap 3, which means it's time. Okay, now I already did that in an earlier episode. With that exact same moment in this exact same song. Alright, everyone's clumped together, so I should be able to... Also, for some reason, they're all parting to the right to let me pass. I'm not gonna complain, but it is odd behavior, admittedly. Right, no. I also have to, once again, call attention to lemon oil. Like, is that gonna be the next, what is it? The next ethanol? Lemon oil? Is lemon gonna become... Are lemons gonna become the next source of alternate energy? Or maybe it's like the Cars universe, where lemons are a term for, like, cars that are like a stand-in for the physically disabled or something. I don't really understand how that works. So what would lemon oil be then? Would it be like medicine? Would it be like, what is it, diabetes shots? I don't know. You just put a dash of lemon in your oil, and you can deal with your, diabetes. Can cars even get diabetes? I'm confusing myself again. Ah, no! Alright. That is not going to stand. I can probably win the Grand Prix and be okay, but I'm going to be on the safe side and redo that, because it's not very long anyway, so who cares? Who cares? Just randomly gets angry. Alright, yeah, see, look, they're all going over to the right. And then just as I pass by, they're coming out of the woodwork to be like, "Oh, no, you don't, boy!" And ramming into me. I mean, I appreciate the attention, but... Sorry, I want to make a ROM hack of this game where every time someone tries to block you, they just say, "Oh, no, you don't, boy!" And that sound clip plays. I don't know. I'm getting silly. It's really hot in here. Please. I'm getting slightly delirious. Well, I mean, maybe that's okay. Maybe that makes the video more entertaining. Based on my experience watching the Let's Player Big Dip on a Bus, people getting delirious does make it for entertaining content. But also, it's a sort of like a secret spice. You don't want to act delirious all the time, or else you'll get old. Except, he seems to have managed to find an exact, like, method of being just kind of slightly loopy, but also being able to kind of snap back and forth between acting that way and being normal, to where he can keep it up consistently, and it just sort of builds upon itself indefinitely. Like, the other day I was watching his stream archive for New Super Mario Bros. Specifically Part 2. And you can find this video in my favorites if you're curious. But he told this story, this weird story, in the middle of the stream, like right near like the, like, I don't remember exactly where in the video it was, but it was kind of near the center, time-wise. It, it was basically like, he was at work, and he remembered like this episode of Rugrats that he watched as a kid, which always like kind of annoyed him. And so in his head, he started making this really exaggerated version of the episode. He was trying to explain what it was. And I just found it to be like the funniest thing ever. I left a comment on it explaining this, but like, I literally had to like pause the video and go lie in bed to like make myself stop laughing because I was getting dizzy. And it just, I don't know, man, it just really changed me inside. Well, I'm being dramatic, but it was really funny. It was like one of the funniest things I'd heard in probably years. Now, if you guys want to go watch the video, you probably wouldn't find it as funny as I do, because I have a very strange and like sort of incomprehensible almost sense of humor. You know, if you haven't picked up upon that from my videos. Which I'm pretty sure is a thing that's common with people who have ADHD. I don't know why, but whatever. Just having like a very odd sense of humor. Alright, it looks like I'm not going to be able to nab the 1 on this, so I'll settle for 3rd. Since I think this attempt actually went worse than the last one. Something tells me it won't be better on a 3rd go. But what I won't let happen is Nievel pressing me! Alright, there you go. I at least got 3rd. Ding, 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 ding. Alright. Is that enough to win? Yes, it is. Okay. In fact, I wasn't even in that much danger of losing. And Renovka team pulls off yet another win, thanks to yours truly. You win! A winner is you! That's pretty nice.